So trumpet, we're going to go over the trumpet, the care kit, how to maintain the trumpet a little bit, some do's and don'ts. Opening up the case, basically you get the trumpet mouthpiece, bottle of valve oil, slips in here. Let's read this slip. Notice, valves must be oiled before using. One thing we do see a lot, books shoved inside the case. Shoved in here, and it'll be like all morphed and bent and folded. And with the book in there, I would really have to push down hard to get this case to close. You may be thinking, well, that's not a problem because that's all squishy in there. It starts to bend the lead pipe and it'll knock this finger hook off. And then you start losing pieces. It could damage the valves up. Some manufacturers will leave this little nook in here so you can put your book in like that. That is a great way for you to carry your book and your music. We caution that you put it on top. Highly suggest you don't. In other words, don't do it. One thing that you don't want to do, and we see this a lot, put your mouthpiece in and just give it a little turn. What we see is kids will over tighten it or overturn it, or their favorite thing is this, because it makes a cool sound. Well, now what they've done is they've wedged the mouthpiece in and then it gets stuck. It's okay. It happens all the time. We suggest you take it to your band director or you bring it into us, and here's why. They all have these things. These are called bobcats or mouthpiece pullers. And what they do is they allow us to pull the mouthpiece without damaging the lead pipe. If you try to pull it out and you don't have one of these and it's really stuck in there, you could break these braces, you could break the lead pipe, you could twist the lead pipe. We've seen it all over the years. No offense, parents out there. If the mouthpiece gets stuck and the kid goes, "Mom, Dad, my mouthpiece is stuck. Can you help me get it out?" Most parents will take a pair of pliers and try to get the mouthpiece out. Reenactment. And what we see is we'll see parents grab onto this mouthpiece with these pliers. Vice grips are the other one because you can get a hold of it really good and you can lock it on and they'll start pulling and twisting. Now look at what's happening. The lead pipe's starting to move, and then they'll grab it by the lead pipe, and they've already bent it. Usually the braces will break, but they marred up the mouthpiece with the plier marks. Highly recommend mouthpiece gets stuck, bring it into us, so then you don't have bent lead pipe syndrome. If you don't have a maintenance with us, we still generally pull them at no charge unless we have to get really aggressive with them. So let's dig into the care kit a little bit. You got a little practice chart. Here's the cleaning cloth. This is a mouth pipe snake. Shove this down the lead pipe to get all that dirt and stuff out. This is a valve casing brush, so you can clean out the inside of the valve casing. Be careful of this little nub though, because I'll scratch it. So you want to make sure you go straight up and down. Mouthpiece brush. You just stick it down in there and clean all the dirt out. Valve oil, tuning slide grease, miniature golf pencil. The first thing you want to do before you play it, you want to oil it. Now there's a couple different ways you can oil it. I would suggest you loosen the bottom caps and then just turn the horn upside down, drop a couple little drops in there, and then work the piston up and down. Just like that. And you want to do that on all three valves. It has the three valves or pistons. And this is what a piston looks like. I'll take one out. Extreme piston. Now the pistons are numbered, and I don't know if you can see that there's a little number right there. And then on the trumpet, there's numbers. 1, 2, 3. And you put the first piston in the first casing. You'll twist it until you hear it lock. When it locks, the other way to do it is you'll look when you pull the piston out which way the number's facing, and you put it back in the same way. You can take the piston out and you can wipe it off, get all the dirt on it, because there will be that dirt and fuzz will collect on it. And then you can re-oil the piston. But if I take the piston all the way out, I'm going to run a little oil just down the side. And I'm going to be careful not to touch it after I've oiled it. And then I'm going to spin the piston until I hear it click. Click. Then I know it's locked in. We've seen it where somebody hasn't oiled their valves in a long time and we've had to hammer the valves out because the corrosion built up. About every other time you want to oil your valves, there's a couple of different things you can do to help maintain the trumpet. The trumpet has slides on it that pull out. You can take the slide out and you can look down the lead pipe and you can see if there's any dirt in there and you can clean that dirt out. You can wipe the slides off, and you want to pull the slides because if you don't, they get stuck because all your spit collects on the slides, weld itself to the instrument, and then they're like really hard to pull. So you want to pull your slides occasionally, wipe them off. Tuning slide grease, and you just want to put a little bit on. It helps protect the slide from that spit and the corrosion, and it also helps lubricate the slide. And I just put a little bit on the end with my finger. I said finner, didn't I? I put one side in and I'll move it around like this. Kind of trying to get all inside that tube. And then I'll do the top. And then I'll put both of them in together. Tuning the instrument is based off the tuning slide. That's why it's called the tuning slide. And your band director will help you determine at what point and where you need to have this tuning slide. To clean your instrument and to get the fingerprints off it, you still want to maintain the outside. The outside has got a lacquer finish, so it does protect it. A polishing cloth, and they have brass cloths, and they have silver cloths, and we sell them at Kidder Music. Ding, ding, ding. Take the polishing cloth and just kind of wipe it down and get all the fingerprints off occasionally. Look at that shine. Ting! If you don't have a polishing cloth, paper towel, magical cleaner, and you spray a little bit on the cloth, not directly on the horn, and you just wipe that off. If you have a maintenance contract or you're renting your trumpet through us, your cleaning is actually covered. We'll run it through our ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll check your valves and make sure that they're at the manufacturer recommendation for how they're working and lined up. We use all the manufacturer's recommended springs and felts and water keys, so you're not getting aftermarket stuff. You're getting what the manufacturer originally put on your horn to begin with, all covered. No pocket. And so for you beginning trumpet players, here's a little public service announcement. Change your instrument now. Because what will happen is you'll grow up to look like that down there. And there you go.